to. Okay, we will be coding in a minute. Okay, let's say hi to Twitch, and then we can get into something. Okay, that's a short pause. I told you, didn't I? Let's get rid. Sweet. So where did I leave off last time? Okay, I need to start pause logging, and I want the log, so that's a debugger, and it always starts turned on, which is normally what I want, but right now it's not what I want, to be honest. So it's a boolean, which is a switch, something that's true or false, or yes or no. If you control and click, it'll take you to the root, and we'll just set it to true. Font scale, let's go a bit bigger. Sometimes I can't see the right, 1.4. It's just nice when I'm coding for the new people, just to have a little loop of the engine, so when you don't know what I'm making, you've got like a little reference point. Make that a bit smaller. How does that look on my side? I think that's there, isn't it? That's good. Perfect. And that's my big laptop at the bottom. So now I can just go through code, to be honest. I'm happy. Okay, this is my skybox. So when you see the clouds going around, and yeah, actually just the clouds and the atmosphere, this is the shader code. A shader is just a program that runs on the graphics card, rather than just a normal program that runs on the processor, the CPU. So this is a shader. So it's not, you'll see it's not C++, the language is different. And this is red wine. And this is its mother. Sun factor, interesting. So this is how much you can change the color of the sun. If you look at the top left, you see the engine. The clouds are orange a little bit, and so the land is a bit orange as well. So that's how much the color of the sun blends in to other things. You see the clouds a bit purple there, so then the land is like a little bit purple, just a percentage. And the point being, the sun or the lack of sun should impact everything. Skybox vertices, and this is just Oh, this is interesting. So this is just the maths behind the skybox. So clouds on a game, and like you see the atmosphere. It's literally a cube. So the whole world is in a like it's like being in a dice or in a box, and that box just spins, rotates. I've just upped the speed, like by almost 4.5, 5 times, from 0.07. So now it's gonna just look crazy, but I'm just curious. What does that look like? Okay, let's find out. There it is, clouds that are too fast. I'm losing a frame every now and then on the stream, so it looks like it's jerking. I wouldn't do that in the game really. But when it goes slow, more naturalistic, that's hidden completely. And then, as I mentioned, if you just change the color of the sun, it tints the clouds. It tints a bit of everything. Remove some of the artificial grids. Give it a time of day and a position of the sun and brightness. This looks a bit more of a scene. But yeah, the atmosphere, the reality is just ruined by the speed. But I was curious. Also, the textures are bad. And too high. Make them lower. Let's make the world a lot bigger. I think the water will get misplaced, so the water won't look accurate. Some daytime. Now we've got a big piece of land. And so the change from earlier is working as well, so the log, you can see the logs turned off. There's no debugging here. IMG UI, every time it's drawing a new line of text, it can slow down the GPU. It's all OpenGL. In other words, it's all graphics based. Daytime, I think Cloud9 has a tint of blue, but basically white. And then you can get a bit of shading when you've got some height. Maybe a bit more height. Now we're beneath the mountains, there you go. Of course the water, I don't have a control to change the water table where it's where it lies. So it's just an Age of Empires kind of god simulation game waiting to happen, basically. I've got multiple screens, so it's not balancing. Chat, say hi. Keep me let's engage. Where's everybody from? Anybody from the UK or the States? That's such a like typical thing to say, isn't it? Because I'm from the West. Who's from somewhere unique? Anyone from Russia? I was in Russia in 2008 or 7, and nobody, even Putin, nobody spoke Russian. Nobody. And it was just before Facebook came out, and that, or just as Facebook came out. But that was good times. My friend, when was in Russia, he lost his visa, a visa pass. So you get the visa and the passport, then you get a pass when you go through the airport. And so we wasn't allowed in hotels. So we was homeless in Russia before 4G and maybe the time of 3G. Okay, what do I want to look at in my code? Because I'm avoiding an intimidating bug called animation. I love that. I recognize the latter part of your name. Maybe you've been in here before. And I wouldn't just say that. Yesterday I told someone I don't know them. But I might have remembered the saint, to be honest, so maybe not. I have a degree in theology, so I'd normally remember something like that. As all game engine developers do. Turn-based board game. That sounds really good, and also, I don't want to understate your work, but I feel like the way I code, because I'm not very good, to be honest. I'm on a journey. Yeah, okay, that's what I did recognize. But I feel like turn-based would be easier in some ways. I think, you know, when you don't really know what you're doing on something you've never coded before, and you can kind of think, okay, this probably works like this. You don't have to go through a tutorial. You can do a lot of coding like that once you have a good foundation. And a turn-based game is what I think maybe I could make a turn-based game. I mean, I think I could, but I can't. But I just think the strategic side and the pausing would help me a lot. I think it would be easier than maybe a real-time strategy game. But I know you got loads of bugs and it's killing you and you just don't agree at all. It's probably very difficult. Like Baldur's Gate is unbelievable. Of course it's not a board game, but I think in some sense all turn-based games are a bit of a board game. What's your thoughts on Civilization? I guess you probably like Civilization. Sometimes I type things in the chat as well because people won't hear my response when they view this video later. Okay. Yeah, I wonder why it's easy to code. I don't know how to describe it, but I just feel like it is. Interesting. I'm just reading, so that the chat's here for me. Yeah. So I feel like I should love Civilization, but I just don't. And I'm tempted to give number 7. I think it's just out, like it's about to come out, right? I'd probably enjoy working on it more than I would enjoy playing it. I think that's where I am. I sit somewhere in between being a coder and a player. I like the tech. But I'd prefer Command and Conquer. Or Age of Empires, but I've just got bored of that. Anno was really good, but Anno 1800, it just lacked, it didn't have as much combat as I'd have liked. And maybe it was a bit too hard, but it's not too difficult because you can't achieve it. It just takes the fun out for some personalities. Okay, so I've had a couple of glasses of wine, and let me see if that makes me better at coding, or worse. And by the way, that was 2 glasses in 3 hours, so I've not really had anything. Chat, can you just tell me what the levels of my music versus my microphone, if it's okay? I'm just looking at the chat, and to the side there's a YouTube Shorts, and one of them is the French Empire on Civilization 7. It just looks so good. Maybe I should get it and stream it. Thank you. Do you ever stream, by the way, from Vegas? So Trump was in Vegas, right? Did I see Trump was in Vegas? Yes, I did. Today or yesterday. Yeah, do you ever stream? Because I don't know if you want to sell a game or if it's just a project. I just saw what was an above average game. It was like, actually it was a real-time strategy. It was based in Egypt. And I think it was a 7 or 8 year development cycle. I saw it on YouTube. You might have heard of it. And their YouTube page had, I think it was like 6,000 followers. And they've been making it for 8 years. And you could get that in like 6 months for a game that was so good. And they'd just done they just put like a video up like once a year. And they would have made so much money. I don't think it was that good of a game, but it doesn't matter. But the point being, like, they should have streamed in their development or just advertised. Oh, I forgot to turn the the speed of the clouds down. Okay, I can do that now. Maybe I should turn it up. Let's see if anybody says something. Skybox vertices. Okay, I fixed it. We had a store in England called Gluderati. It's like a board game store. And I used to sometimes code in there. I really respected the environment and I really liked it. I like the culture. I'm not into board games, but it was just it was like one step removed from playing Baldur's Gate. I could just sort of, it was like, I don't know, it was the next thing to PC gaming for me. I appreciated it, but it just wasn't for me. And was Baldur's Gate made into a board game? I think I saw something. Okay, let's work on these animations. Yeah, I've not tried Mana, to be honest. Actually, I think, yeah, I could kind of see it. To be honest, I do. I can see the fun in it. Is it Catan? Settlers thing in it. And there's so many. I was gonna get somebody one for Christmas, and then I quickly realised how good the marketing is. Like the books are so good. The boxes, like Sherlock Holmes Detective. There's 6 different stories, and then there's it was just so many. I think there was some Star Wars ones. Maybe was it a Lord of the Rings one? And I was like, I'm gonna pick the wrong one. And they just look cool. Like I could collect them and not play them necessarily. Okay, so where did the model go that I just loaded? Yeah, I think I would like Warhammer and also probably Dungeons and Dragons. I think that might be what I'd align the most with. The whole, or maybe there's a lot that run on the rules. And I don't know if I ever would, 'cause I think it would take a lot. I won't mind it. No, I won't say that. But yeah, I could definitely get into that if I had maybe if I was 20. Neverwinter Nights was good on PC. I think that was Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think you can see the error that I have here. Alright, there we are. Is that a glass? So I imported the model of a glass, and I think that's the base of the mod of the. Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. Somebody's given a free asset in Blender, this cup, and they've included a plane. Why is that necessary? Presentation. Yeah, Neverwinter was very good. And actually, that might be almost all you needed. And then as time goes on, you just get better graphics. But I think that you could get a new version of that now, and that's a good game. I know they did continue to make more. Also, where's my material manager? I think, yeah, there's the plane. Goodbye. Transparent, no. Well, this works for sure. Ah, there's that plane here. all these parts just for the glass. Okay. That's made me curious now. Neverwinter Nights. Wonder what community there is. Neverwinter Nights announced 2018.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
That's enhanced, wow. It must have been bad graphics. Yeah, it's basically my game engine. Thank you, man. Or lady. Good luck with the project. If you ever get anything to show, feel free to just advertise it or let us send it over. I'm gonna check the scope of my animations. No. So if you see code that's like this blacked out, it means it's a comment. So these two lines, if you put two lines, two forward slashes, it turns it into a comment. So the program ignores it, it becomes inactive. So you could put a note there. It's one way of creating documents and reminders and comments. A function that compiles the shaders and returns a OpenGL unsigned integer. Integer is a number, unsigned is something that's Doesn't have a sign next to it, so not a minus, so 0 or higher. Checking errors for the shader compiling. That's this function. After you compile a shader, you link it. Is that the right order? And you activate it. Use it. And this function here is the material editor. So when I was just making the plane or making some things transparent in the model, that was all these buttons. So the user interface for transparency between 0 and 1. So 0 was you cannot see it. You see here material editor, show material editor. If I go to animation, you can't see that. Model loader. Here. So the render submesh function is something I've incorporated into the engine. So if I draw a car to the screen, this allows me to draw any submesh of the car. So maybe just the wheel, and it draws it in just a box at the top right. So maybe you want the window, you want to get it in a separate box. So you take the submesh, and you might want to make it shinier or transparent or give it a tint. So this will render just, first you render the car and then you render something separate. Yeah, that was fun coding that. That was when I was in Israel, maybe 3 months ago. I was looking at this. I wonder if I can demonstrate that. Sometimes you add a feature to the engine and then you break it by adding more, and you don't know because you've not used it for a while. I'm good at that. Load the car. We can test if it works. I'm looking for a Bugatti here. I don't know why it's presented so dramatically. There. So to render the submesh, render here, render selected submesh separately. So now this window, and it's not perfect at all, but this is now drawing a given piece of the car here, but we can't see it because it might just be like a tiny bolt. But what I tend to do on the engine is I just put the code in, I get the functionality working. So last I used this, it worked fine. So what we really need is to find something like something large. Mirrors might not be big enough. There's a car gone. And then this is moving it across the X and the Y. It's moving the camera. No, this went through them as well. Through the different pieces. Where is it? Okay. So annoying. But I actually think, I'm still pretty sure this works fine. And this is rendering one piece, but the camera is, you have to get the position right. And I think it starts off zoomed in. Ah, there you go. I know you doubted me. I know you doubted me. So you'll see that they're lining up to where, if you imagine this is, they're all positioned correctly. So now we're rendering one piece of the car at a time. So I just need to tweak this. But what was cool is if the lights move around in the real render here, in the real scene, it also impacts the submesh. So it's all real time. Let's add some different color lights. Some brightness. These are all different parts of your car. And so you'd say, why would you want to do this? And it was just to edit components separately. So maybe you don't want to see, maybe you want your window fully transparent, so you could change the transparency. And these are, so you see here, this is what's happening. We've just lost a bit of light. I think that can still work for now. Maybe we'll do that. So the transparency could change. And what else? I don't know if everything. Diffuse color maybe. So this is a material editor basically. I don't know if everything was coded. I don't think the emissive, which is like a bulb or a lightsaber, you know, the emissive light that comes out. But you could change. But some of these are interacting with each other as well. So the color's not always as true. But more or less is. Take wireframe off. That's better, right? Go through the different parts of the car. Let's find something large. So that's the body, right? And you can make the body somewhat alpha, transparent. And that was the point of the code I just shown you, which was, where was it? Here. Render submesh. So this is doing it all here. This is the bit that's responsible for drawing it within the box. That was good fun. 3 months ago. Okay, I'm gonna have a snack, so I'm gonna log off. But hit subscribe, and I'll be on either in 90 minutes or tomorrow. Good night. 11:30 p.m. almost.